Senate File 482, an act establishing the Iowa Potty Police. That is what this bill should be called. Or alternately, the bill should be called the Bathroom Bullies Bill, because that is what it does. Bills like these literally make the world smaller, more restrictive, and more dangerous, not just for trans kids, but for any kids who might not look how others think a boy or girl should look. It gives license to a new corps of potty police. Instead of minding their own business and just going to the bathroom, kids will use this to bully other kids. Now, proponents of this bill will argue that this is a new issue or this is about safety. It's not new, and it's not about safety or privacy. Bills like this continue a line of efforts to use fear and violence to force people into gender roles assigned by society. Almost every woman I know who appears masculine of center or butch can tell you a story about being lunged at aggressively and told she's in the wrong bathroom. It's scary, and bills like this encourage that behavior. Guess the authors of this bill couldn't make headlines outright attacking lesbian or gay people, so turned to a small minority of trans kids instead. I would say pick on someone your own size, but bullies never do. There have been exactly 0 cases of a trans person hurting another person in a restroom. However, every year, hundreds of trans women are murdered in the United States of America. And ignoring this information betrays the hostility behind this bill. And perhaps the intent is not hostile, but the impact certainly is. This bill ushers in a world which is smaller, meaner, and scarier for anybody who doesn't conform. Not only will this bill impact kids, but also trans parents who attend show choir, theater performances, or sports. If you attended the subcommittee, you've met some trans people, but I suspect many of you haven't. If you walk around Des Moines, though, chances are you've walked past a trans man or trans woman and you don't even know it. With a bill like this, people who look like what we think of as a man or woman will be forced to use bathrooms that don't fit their gender identities, and the potty police will rush in. And at first, I thought this may not have been considered, but given the 32 bills filed in this building targeting the LGBTQ community, it seems more likely that this is anticipated, and that awkwardness and lack of safety for LGBTQ folks in the bathroom is a feature and not a bug. This bill makes it less safe for us to walk through society as ourselves because you don't want us to exist. And here's the thing, some people may support bills like these due to misunderstanding or misinformation. While deep down, others know that this is one more way to enforce an artificial binary by making public life outright hostile to anybody who doesn't perform their assigned role. It's not new, and it's striking how much work people will put into enforcing, even through violence, something they purport to be natural. It's the same thing that operates when a parent calls their son a sissy or worse. And it's the same thing that motivated the individuals who raped and murdered Brandon Tina in 1993, a young trans man who just wanted to be himself. Some people cannot stand that people exist in this world who contradict their view of how things should be. Many people invoke the name of God in this conversation, but when you seek to snuff out the variety of God's children, you've made a God in your own image. Why else would you have to work so hard to enforce what you say is natural? No, I've said enough, but I'm going to leave you with words from Sid High, a 19-year-old trans man who has a strong Christian faith, a constituent of mine. My name is Sid High, and I'm a transgender 19-year-old man. When you're trans like me, you just want to be able to use the bathroom in peace like anybody else and be treated with respect. All we want is to be able to be treated like human beings. God made us to love one another, for he is love. Jesus stood up for the oppressed, and it disappoints me to see Christians in my community doing the opposite of love. Love thy neighbor is one of the biggest commandments in the Bible. We need to all love one another as we are called to do. Casting judgment upon others and attempting to strip away rights due to personal opinions is the least Christian thing one can do. Please spread love and kindness. For God is love, and he calls us to love regardless of how one shows it. Thank you for your time. We don't need potty police. Kids just want to pee in peace.